Black Lives Matter was an organization that started after the death of Trayvon Martin in 2012. And the reason why Black Lives Matter is so important, because the cause of racial discrimination and police brutality against black people was actually getting worse. I mean, there's so many stories we can talk about. There's Trayvon Martin, there's Michael Brown, there's Eric Gardner, there's Rakia Boyd. Many of these organizations spread throughout the country, and some even started outside the country, in particular places like the UK. But today we're talking about this lady. Her name is Monica Cannon Grant. Now, she had an organization in Boston, her and her husband, called Violence in Boston. This was a nonprofit. Her and her husband. Now, her husband, Clark Grant, was also allegedly involved in this scheme, but unfortunately passed away in 2023 in a motorcycle accident. Now, 3 years ago, she went viral when this happened.
The leader of a nonprofit called Violence in Boston is facing fraud charges, accused of misusing grant money and donations. Monica Cannon Grant is a well-known activist for racial justice. She's accused of using donations for personal expenses, including groceries, car rentals, even nail salon visits. WBZ's Christina Hager talked to community leaders who say this arrest could hurt the movement.
Nothing to say as she walked out of court facing a list of federal charges. Violence in Boston founder Monica Cannon Grant. Famous for leading racial equity rallies from Boston to Hopkinton, now accused of using money from her charity for personal use, raising grave concerns among other black activists that her alleged actions could set them all back.
Now, to me, this is very important, okay? Because these are all of the things allegedly that this lady did. But then here is actually the sad part.
Philanthropic organizations, elected officials, and others who may now be less likely to give to what they may perceive as a good cause.
Now, the brother is saying because of people like her, the situation is bad. And many people in the black community, when we have issues like this, okay, people lose trust and they don't want to help our causes. Let me give you an example. Dr. Umar Johnson's FDMG Academy. You're excited to help that situation initially, and then we find out that it's a scam. The Tulsa Real Estate Fund with Boyce Watkins and Jay Morrison. And yes, I'm saying Boyce Watkins because he platformed the guy, but most notably Jay Morrison. What's the issue with that? Well, it never came into fruition and the community lost over $13 million. And so now you have this lady who's doing the same thing on the behalf of the black community, trying to stop violence in Boston. Literally, you're adding to violence in Boston because you're doing wire fraud, you're doing mail fraud, you're paying your auto and insurance bills, you're doing high priced dinners, nail salon visits, you're on vacation, and you're using other expenditures. So what you should be able to do to help the community, you're not doing. You're paying like $3,000 a week, and then you're using government funds like unemployment, other benefits to assist you. And then there was an issue where under investigation, this lady, Monica Cannon Grant, went out to speak to a school while under investigation, okay? And a lot of the parents didn't like this. And this happened.
Can you understand why they might be upset given the fact that you're under federal investigation?
No, because I'm innocent until proven guilty.
Today, we spoke with Monica, not only about her presence at the school and whether she stole money.
No, I didn't.
As a mom, would you have had a problem with someone who is under federal indictment giving a speech to your kids?
No. Because the people closest to the problem understand how to solve it. I am not the first black activist. In fact, there are 326 black activists facing federal charges.
So, as you can see, in my honest opinion, that's a high level of no accountability. The lady is saying, listen, no, I will let my kids talk to somebody like me because I'm innocent until proven guilty. And then guess what? Want to know what she ended up doing? She's going to plead guilty to all or some of the charges she faces in an apparent plea deal with prosecutors. All right. So basically you had 27 counts of 18 fraud related crimes. All right. And then now what you're doing is you're about to plead guilty to those even after you've been cursing out people, like the Daily Mail tried to get her to respond to these charges just yesterday or a few days ago, and she cursed them out. Basically, they're asking about how does she feel about stealing donor money for luxurious treats, and she has no level of accountability for it. So let me just tell you this. When these things happen and you start seeing people like the right or white folks, like Charlie Kirk, talking about Black Lives Matter in a negative way, this is what they're talking about, all right? And we can say that, yes, there's racism out there towards blacks, and then people are hateful towards blacks. But when it comes to things like this, that's all on black people, okay? When you're called Black Lives Matter, and literally you're getting your funding from non-blacks, and then you're stealing that money to go spend it on whatever you want to spend it on, and it's only because you know the community won't give you the money because you feel like the community is cheap. No, the community probably understands that maybe you might scam. Every now and again, you get somebody like Jay Morrison or Dr. Umar, but most people know what's up. So a lot of this big time money they're getting this from like maybe white organizations, Jewish organizations, Democratic organizations, and then on the behalf of black people, you're living off the money because you're lazy. And this also happened to Sir Major Page, all right? I don't know if you guys remember that guy. He's like an albino brother. He lived in Atlanta, Ohio area. And then whatever happened to Sir Major Page? Sir Major Page is now in prison right now. He used to be, I see him on Twitter in the FBA streams. He would call in to Tariq's show, being active, and he would be going back and forth with people on X. And they would be like, look, man, you better watch out for your cheeks in prison. You're about to get clapped. And these are things that we're talking about. If you're going to talk about racism, white supremacy, if you're going to talk about what white people are doing, and then at the same time, you don't have the resources to combat that because the community has the money, but then at the same time, we're stealing the money. The way of the whites who feel like this or any other anti-black groups is, you know what? Y'all proving us right. Because let me tell you something that I noticed. At Charlie Kirk's Utah Valley State appearance, want to know what I saw? It was people out there buying Make America Great hats all day long. They were spending money, all right? I don't even think he got a payment to go. He was on tour, but I can tell you, he was selling a lot of stuff out, all right? He was gonna leave out of there making a lot of money. And that money was gonna go back to Turning Point USA, and they were gonna be able to do more stuff. You can see evidence. The problem with a lot of black stuff is then when you start giving the money, and even here in Africa, you don't really see the development of those things. And then let me just say this too. The brothers and the sisters that actually are doing the work don't have the charisma a lot of times to, get things popping. So then they're left out. I mean, and it's really, really sad. So if you're a person, you're really doing something well. And if you don't have like a great personality like Dr. Umar Johnson, if you're not a person that got everybody like oohing and on, like Brother Polite, Young Pharaoh, you're gonna have a hard time getting funded. You'll have a hard time because we need somebody sensationalized, right? Just like this person, probably good at talking, got a little attitude, say the right things, know how to ooh and ah and all of that. And then look, there you are, down bad as hell. There you are. I mean, it just makes no sense. So, that's all I gotta say. So Black Lives Matter, again, continues to get worse. Like I said, I am a pro-black, okay? We're gonna keep it real. Like I said, I am a pro-black, but we're gonna be honest and talk about a lot of the problems that pro-blacks have. And this is one of them. No accountability to the community. Doing everything you wanna do, all right? Out there you wanna call out what white people are doing, and then when it comes down to the accountability to the community, now all of a sudden, you don't got nothing to say. I ain't gonna talk to y'all about that. I don't owe y'all nothing. Yeah, in the name of blackness, you can sit back and get paid and get anything you want, and it's completely fine. Soon as black people start asking questions about your ass, what you've been doing, now all of a sudden, you don't feel like you got nothing to say. All of a sudden, you ain't got nothing to say. Why all of a sudden now, you can't do right by the people? Look at Tiffany Henyard. It's all about black people. Once you want to get in and get voted in, then guess what? Start talking to her about the community and what she need to be doing. Now we can't talk about that no more. Now it's a problem. You see? Now it's an issue. You see how that works? It's problematic. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Dude Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We out.